usually open with a question, but I will leave it to the audience immediately. I see there's a lot of enthusiasm, so I won't take away from you. Yes, go ahead, please. You can scream.
Where?
Hello?
Oh, it's working, perfect.
Thank you very much for this movie. My first question would be, when exactly was this film, from when to when those images were just shot?
On the 8th of March of last year.
Just in March?
Yeah.
Nothing more, okay.
No.
So it's just March?
Yeah.
And, okay, so that might answer the second question I had, because for a fact, I know there were a lot of repression.
Yeah.
I have personally a friend that had problems, and there is not a single image of this, and I'm wondering. Thank you.
Yes, there was, on the first and second demonstration, there was repression. I was actually in the middle of it when it happened. And on the third one, which is the one we shot, there was not as much. And basically the place that we were shooting was not very far. I mean, it was quite central, and it's not so close to the place where the repression was happening. So in the beginning, I think what happened was, at least, and then maybe you can explain this better, but there was a lot of repression in the first 2 weeks of the demonstrations, and I think on the third week, which was the week that we shot, there was a lot of understanding of where not to go and where to stay to avoid the confrontation with the police. The repression that you see there, it was actually, to be quite frank with you, was the second week of demonstration. The one when you see the bullets and the water going. But maybe...
C'est bon, moi je voudrais juste rajouter une chose, c'est qu'il y a un moment dans le film où je dis qu'il y a des endroits où ça passe bien et d'autres non. Moi j'ai eu la chance de... D'ailleurs il y a une autre partie dans le film où je dis à une amie à moi qui est Menel, je lui dis pourquoi aller vers le Mouradia, parce que c'est là-bas où ça chauffait, ce qui est tout à fait normal. Mouradia, c'est une zone militaire où le peuple ne peut pas y accéder, c'est le symbole c'est le palais présidentiel. Et avec le temps, on a pu convaincre le peuple que y aller là-bas, ça sert à rien. Si vous y allez là-bas, c'est que vous voulez vous faire mal. Et c'est vrai qu'il y avait de la répression, mais avec le temps, le peuple algérien a su gérer cette répression. Il a su faire face avec beaucoup de paix. C'est pour ça qu'on a accentué le fait que la paix était plus présente que la répression.
I would like to add something. At one point in the film, I tell a friend of mine places where we can go and places where we should not go. And later I call a friend of mine, Amel, and I tell her, why did you go to Al Mouradia? Because this is a dangerous area. Actually, it's normal that we're not supposed to go there. It's a military area in the city. So people are not supposed to go there. That's where the presidential palace is located. So, I mean, gradually we convinced people not to go to the dangerous places because otherwise they would get hurt. But it's true, there has been some repression, but with the time, because we were so peaceful, we managed to deal with that repression.
But just to close the question, perhaps I would say something. I was also very much interested in talking about hope and in talking about the joy that I found in this third day that I was there. And I think there was people that was arrested, there was a lot that happened afterwards, but for me, I was much more interested in looking at what we saw in the cinema and what we saw in the film than to focus on different things that were not in the film. So it's a choice as well.
Je rajouterai juste une chose, c'est vrai, vous parlez des choses qu'on n'a pas vues. Mais même ce qu'on a vu, c'était réel. C'était réellement ce qui se passait. C'est pas des choses qu'on a inventées. C'est juste qu'on a orienté notre attention vers les choses positives. Parce qu'on veut une Algérie heureuse, une nouvelle Algérie plus positive.
It's true that you say that there are things in the film that we do not see, but what we're showing are real things. We're not inventing anything, in fact, and we focused on the positive aspects because what we want to show is a cheerful Algeria, a new one, a new Algeria.
Thank you very much. Beautiful movie. I was actually in Algiers in those demonstrations, and it definitely resonated. So thank you for that. Just a very quick question to Nardjes. So if you don't mind, I'll ask in Algerian and then I'll translate in English as well.
يا يما.
يعطيك الصحة نرجس، ميرسي بوكو. أنا حبيت نسقسيك وكما كنتو تقولوا في لافان تاع الفيلم الحراك مازالو الناس مازال يتخرج. انتي بيرسونيلمون كيفاش راكي تشوفيها؟ وين راهي الحالة دوكا وين رانا رايحين؟ وشنو كيفاش راح تتطور لي نيكست ستيب تاع الحراك؟ وباش برك ندير لا traduction. So I was just asking, as we saw in the film at the end, the Hirak, this movement is still going on. There are still people going to the street every Friday. Actually, just the last Friday we had the first year anniversary. So my question is, what's your perspective on this movement? Where is it? You talk about where's it going? You talk about the Algeria of tomorrow. What does that look like? Thank you. Shukran.
Déjà, tout d'abord, merci à toi d'être là, Saharo. Ça me fait un énorme plaisir qu'il y a un jeune Algérien avec qui oh là là je suis très contente. Donc, le truc, c'est que si tu as remarqué, je me permets de te répondre en français, comme ça on n'exclut pas les autres. Si ce que dans le film, à aucun moment, je n'ai inscrit ce que j'ai montré dans ma lutte personnelle en Algérie, en fait. Ce que je veux, moi, c'est ce que veut ce peuple. Je veux une Algérie, qui n'exclut personne. Ni les personnes qui arrivent à arracher une vie là-bas, ni les personnes qui n'ont pas la capacité de le faire. Du coup, je peux te dire que وين ما راح يروح هاد الحراك وواش راح يدوموندي هاد الشعب أنا مش شعب. C'est tout. Yeah, I have to say it in French. So, okay. I forgot what I was saying. It's okay. So, j'ai juste dit que, pour la fin, ce qui est très important, c'est juste que j'ai dit que peu importe ce que veut ce peuple, moi, je fais partie de ce peuple. Et j'ai dit en français, je pense que
vous l'avez dit, c'est vrai. Alors, first of all, I would like to thank you for being here. I'm very happy to see that there is a young Algerian in the cinema tonight. It makes me really very, very happy. And I don't know if you've noticed, but in the film, I do not make comments about my personal fight, because I want what the people in Algeria want. I want an Algeria, a country that does not exclude anyone, people who have a life and people who maybe have more difficulties to get a life. Whatever the people in Algeria want is what I want as well.
Next question.
It's a really joyous movie about a revolution, because I felt really uplifted. But I have to question a boring technical thing, because I think it was the sound was so marvelous, and all the ideas that you made with sound, work with sound, were so amazing. At what point did you choose to really make this an oral adventure? Because what you hear is not always realistic. It's done so marvelous and so good. Was really, really taken for right.
Thank you. I will speak, but I'll let Sebastian, who makes the film, also speak a little bit. Listen, it was, for me, very important. I mean, the feeling that I had when I was walking in those streets, you know, and the time that I spent there, in the Fridays that I went to those demonstrations, there was something life-changing for me in general, but also because of the world we're living in now. And I thought that the movie would only make sense as if it were more than just, you know, more than a narrative about a day, but also about being there, you know. And I think that's, for me, what cinema is capable of doing, and that's why I thought it was maybe worth making this film, because it was this immersion possibility that you have when you're making film that I thought would be great. I know that this film probably won't be seen many times on a room like this, with the sound like this, with a crowd like you, but I thought when I was mixing, there was a very interesting moment, and I thought this is what I need. And funny enough, I think it's the first film I've ever made that I sat through today. I always run out. I'm afraid of what the audience is going to say and what they're going to feel. But today I kind of stayed because I wanted to. It's for me a sensorial experience more than it is only a narrative experience. And it was funny when we were mixing. I remember this was 4 days ago. I think we finished the film on Thursday or something like that, which is true, not a joke. But we were mixing the film, and
Don't tell them.
that's okay now. The film is fine. The GCP is ready. But it was great because the person who was a wonderful guy, was a wonderful partner, Michael Reuter, who was responsible for Post Republic. He was watching, and he jumped out of his seat. After the first shot. The first moving shot comes up, and I thought he was afraid that his speakers will break, in the mixing studio. I thought, so that's a good sign, that's the way to go. But maybe you can speak a bit, Sebastian, because it was a great collaboration, and it was really, he did a fantastic collaboration in this film, and with such speed and precision.
Thanks. It's probably just a very boring technical answer to the question, but in fact, I think the moment when I realized what to do was when I talked to Karim and realized that it's just about being there. And I've not been there, so I needed to, take what I had. But I've been to demonstrations, and there's this moment where you hear sounds that come from, from any angle that startle you and that are really shocking. And I think that was something that Karim pushed for, to give that. Always give that moment of surprise, and I hoped for that to be an immersive experience and something that's just a ride and something that you won't know when you're not there, but you want to be as close as possible. So we just tried, and
You succeeded.
okay.
I was actually thinking of joy as a way of resisting through the sound, basically.
I actually want to add to that when I saw the film a couple of days ago in the DCP on Thursday, that I really felt exactly as I felt in that tunnel, with the sound. And it was an insane experience because it was like going a year back in time and being there. And that was incredible. Thank you.
Yes.
Microphone, please.
Santos, I'm Brazilian too, and I want to ask Karim. Yes, I'm here.
Where?
If you can stand up, please.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
over here.
Okay.
So, as a Brazilian person, I was so amazed about the identification, because the way of make demonstrations is exactly like in Brazil. They are singing and playing. It was so far away from me because other environment, but it's so close. And the way of people is playing in the middle of the demonstrations looks like a party, but it's a political demonstrations as well, a party. For you as a half-half, I'm curious about this sensation, because I'm not half-half, but I felt like, where is it?
No, I think a lot of the reason also that this movie, was possible. Of course, it's a portrait of Nardjes, but it's also a portrait of a state of things. It's a day, but it's a state of things. And I had just made a movie. It's so good that it comes from you, because you were the light of the last movie I made. Barbara is a wonderful actress. She's played in my last film, my fiction film. She somehow she's the flame of joy in that film. She's the flame of resisting, not through different things, but through joy. And I think it was your question is very good, because the feeling I had when I was there, particularly on that day, which was the day that we shot, it reminded me very much, this is going to sound a bit crazy to everybody, but it really reminded me of Carnival, and there was a sense that there was danger, but there was also this wisdom of actually go around danger and actually celebrate something that seemed to me that had been sort of started in the soccer stages in Algeria, and then it sort of took the streets. So I think I was very, very taken by exactly what you talked about, which is this possibility of what Nardjes actually described at some point called the revolution of smiles, because I think we need it, and we need it urgently, because I have the feeling particularly it's good that you're Brazilian, not the sense I have in Brazil is that we're traumatized. You know, it's been such a big blow what's happened in the last elections, and I think in other countries, particularly in Germany, I mean, what's been happening in the last 10 days, it's just impossible, you know. So I think for me, what was I was really looking for, you know, when I was in the middle of this, was this memory that I had when I actually went to Carnival for the first time, and how much that changed my life, and how much I understood that there are so many different and creative ways of resisting, and that we have to remember this one in particular.
I speak in Algerian, then I translate.
Non Algerian? Yeah.
Salam alaikum. Yatik Saha, c'était un plaisir. Et je fais partie des gens qui partent chaque jour, chaque vendredi. Je vis à Alger, donc pratiquement j'ai fait 40 ou plus de vendredi. Il faut juste mentionner que une fois sur place, c'est très intense. C'est pas comme le film, il y a des frissons, on ressent l'unité des Algériens. Ça c'est vrai. Il faut l'expliquer en image, je ne sais pas comment, mais ça c'est vrai. Et une dernière chose, je dois féliciter toute l'équipe. Vous avez fait un travail magnifique. J'espère qu'il y aura d'autres réalisations sur celui d'Alger et d'autres villes, bien sûr. Et on reste Silmiya. Well, to resume what I said, just want to congratulate all the staff there. I live in Alger, so I've been in Hirak almost all the weeks. So I just want to point something that when you are inside the Hirak, it's very intense. So I hope you made another movie, or maybe you will visit other wilayas or other prefectures, so all the people will know that all Algerians are united. Thank you.
Un autre Saharo, Saharo algérien. Au fait, Saharo, it's my brother. Yeah. À vrai dire, je suis tout à fait d'accord avec toi. Mais au fait, je pense que la sensation d'être là-bas ne pourra être ressentie que quand on est là-bas, en fait. L'image, elle peut, moi personnellement, puisque j'ai été là-bas, quand je vois le film, je revis. Pratiquement chaque moment, je le revis. Pour les personnes qui ont déjà été en Algérie, vécu ça, vont le ressentir. Mais pour les autres, moi personnellement, ça me suffit de voir qu'ils réagissent. Moi, des fois, tu vois leurs yeux briller. Ils peuvent pas être là-bas. C'est pas tout le monde qui peut être en Algérie. Mais le fait que voir des gens qui ne sont pas algériens, madame que je salue énormément, la brésilienne, elle est du Brésil. Elle s'est identifiée, elle s'est vue dans le film, quoiqu'elle ne connaît pas le peuple algérien. Moi, je pense que c'est déjà ça. Et je remercie encore une fois toutes les personnes qui ont travaillé, qui ont travaillé sur le film. C'est que ça me ferait un énorme plaisir que d'autres personnes feront la même chose pour chaque coin de l'Algérie.
Well, actually, I fully agree with you, but I think that, the feeling that people have when they're there is only for people who've been there. They can feel this way. But, when I see the film, I relive every single moment of my being there in Algiers. But for those who have already been to Algiers and who have experienced this, I think they get the same feeling. But of course, it's different for people who've never been to Algeria. But for me, it's enough when I see that people react and when I see their eyes sparkling. Even if they haven't been there, not everyone can go to Algeria, but at least, like this lady from Brazil, she really could identify herself with the film, even if she doesn't know the Algerian people. So it's already a lot when people can identify and sympathize. Therefore, I'd like to thank very much the whole crew. And I would be very happy, of course, if people would do other films about other parts of the country as well.
We would like to continue the Q&A, but unfortunately our time is up. It doesn't mean the conversation does not end. And thank you again for coming. And you can vote, please. On your voice is really important. So if you like the film, you can vote for the Audience Award. And thank you again all for coming. Thank you, Karim, Nardjes, and the whole team. Congratulations.
Thank you.